Hey everyone, I decided to do a little special video this week because it is National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Just started yesterday, so I'm super excited. This video is kind of about ways to raise awareness, even not just obviously this week, but every day, because 30 million people in the United States alone, no matter the race, the gender, suffer from an eating disorder. Eating disorders, like I said many a times in my videos, do not discriminate. And anyone could suffer. You could be 8 or 82, male, female, Hispanic, Caucasian, you can suffer. So some of the ways that I think are very big for raising awareness are one, NEDA walks. NEDA is the National Eating Disorder Association, and they do walks all around the country in all big variety of states. I don't know exactly if every state has a NEDA walk, but I know like pretty much a lot of them do. You can go to their website, which I will link down below, to sign up. That's a really big thing. Ezra and I have gone every year since I got released. Blake came with me last year for the first time, and they have one in my state in April that I'm going to. Even though I have to travel a little bit, but it's still so worth it. Another way I think is for schools. I think speaking out at schools is a big thing. Whether that's your children's school or your own school, depending on your age. Whether that's seeing if you can make posters to spread around the school, doing like assembly, maybe seeing if your counselor could bring in someone who could maybe offer free eating disorder like evaluations, to see if someone could say, hey, if you think you're struggling, come on in and we can see you. That's another big way is to find ways in school. Because the younger you can the younger you can catch it and help take care of it and help the person learn to fight with it, whether that's your child, your friend, or you, or your cousin, aunt and uncle. The younger you can catch it and help them learn to deal with it, the better off you're pretty much gonna be, generally. Another thing I think is really, really cool is bake sales. I did one at my community college that I went to right after treatment, did a bake sale. We had a table full of baked goods you could buy, but we also had a table of information so that they know that the bake sales you're buying, like what this whole thing is about. So then we had people come over, and there was like this informational wheel game we had that I made, and also a PowerPoint that they could look through and see that was on a screen rotating. We were there for probably about 3 hours, 2-3 hours, and quite a few people came through, and I was actually really surprised at how many amount of people who stopped and were curious, like, tell me more, like, what, because, like I said, like, when my parents found out when I was diagnosed, my parents were like, what is this? What does that mean? Like, yeah, an eating disorder, but, like, what does that mean? Like, how do we handle this? Like, they didn't really even concept it or think of it as a thing, really, until they had to deal with it head on because their daughter was literally dying from it. So yeah, that's another way is bake sales. Something I think is really good is this is a little bit more tailored, but public speaking about it. I have done a couple of speaking events about it. Obviously, I've talked about my personal experience, but even just talking about in general about how big of a thing it is, especially if you've been affected, whether that's even just by a loved one that even if it's a friend of yours. You don't obviously have to literally have it yourself to public speak about it and to raise awareness. Obviously, I'm going to do a blog that I got a request for about how it affected my family, and they will tell you it definitely affected them, especially your nuclear family. It's one of those, like, yeah, I am hoping to try to get my sister to talk a little bit about her view and how it affected her too, personally, like, my channel, but I'm hoping to do a little interview with her about how it affected her, because she definitely was one of the major people affected. But, back to awareness. Another thing I think is really cool is, compliment notes. Our hospital actually printed off. They have, okay, so you know how they have flyers and you can take a little strip off that has like a phone number on it for whatever it is. Like if it's like babysitter service, you can take the little phone number thing. Well, they did it for compliments. And I think it's cool to like do some of those. Like say, eating disorders are like this and this and this. Have a little brochure, and at the bottom have like a strip of compliments that you can take off and give to someone. Even just give to yourself if you're having a bad day. Also, like, obviously next to it have like ones about like ways to get help, because it's a big thing. Another thing is blogs about it. I know quite a few people that were in treatment with me that have started blogs too, and I love it. I follow a lot of them, and I think I'm learning even from other people's experiences. And it kind of just like, oh yeah, huh? Like I'm learning things even though I have it, like, because there's a lot, like, it's, especially like other types of eating disorders, like there's a lot to learn. Even if you don't feel comfortable writing, another way to raise awareness is by following those blogs and by reposting them. Even if it's like following some Twitter account and retweeting it, or even like I said, reposting a blog with a little thing about, oh, this is so important, like raise awareness, or doing things like that. Even going to support events, like with people speaking about it, like raising awareness, saying, hey, people are speaking about this, it's an important thing, come to it. Like bringing other people with you if you're just going to get information because you don't deal with it personally yourself, but you're, wanting to help. Maybe a loved one is, like, if you're going to an event about it, like, bring other people and say, hey, come. Those are just some of the major ways. Obviously, like, besides bake sales, there are other fundraisers you can do, things like that. Sorry, my dog's being weird on the floor. I just really felt eating disorders are something that people don't really realize are a thing. I didn't even think of it as a thing until I got diagnosed. Like I would have never ever thought about it. Like I remember the one time I had a thing about really eating disorders came up in my life was when I was looking through channels and a Teen Mom episode had a girl who was pregnant but also had an eating disorder, so she was having struggles with the pregnancy. I remember reading that caption when I was trying to see what was on TV, and it said Teen Mom, and I'm like, what's this episode about? Like, that was like years ago. That's the only time I've ever really had eating disorder brought up in my life until I was diagnosed, and all of a sudden, like, boom. I was like, so, try to do things this week and forever to raise awareness, because they cause more pain than you could ever see. Yes, they cause physical things to happen, but they cause way more emotional damage than you could ever imagine. So raise awareness. Spread the love this week and forever, and celebrate National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Thank you.